Breck sector. Deep space. The type of pure silence only darkness holds. And the fire drake runs silent. She's 3 hours out of Aketi's atmosphere. And the jungle world is already a memory. A green smear on the long-range scanner that nobody is looking at anymore. Nobody misses a planet that wanted to kill you. The delivery to Zokar Pava went clean. Well, clean enough anyway. The kind of clean that means everyone walked away, but some questions linger. The weapons cache is in Zokar's possession, and it's his problem now. That was the job. And it's just a job. And it's now a job that's done and paid. Inside, we can hear and feel the ship breathing. She isn't silent, and the air carries the fire drake's engine hum. She was built for patrol, battle, and pursuit. The bones of a hegemonic predator are still visible underneath the evidence that the crew calls her home. The main corridor smells like engine coolant and whatever someone abandoned in the galley 2 hours ago. Buffalo's tools are distributed throughout the ship in a system only he fully understands, and a small Seeker's medallion hangs from a conduit bracket in the engine room, which everybody knows not to touch. The lighting runs warm. Someone changed it from the original tactical white months ago, and nobody changed it back. Corrigan's corner of the common area has accumulated case files, union correspondence, and a photograph he straightens whenever it shifts. But he never quite explains who's standing next to him in the picture, and nobody asks. On the port side of the upper corridor, we see our mystic in her observation alcove, sitting in a deliberate half-darkness, a cushion and a handful of objects from a world far, far away. The bioluminescence in her hair casting just enough light to read by. Up in the cockpit, Odds, our pilot, has covered the console and calculations she insists are load-bearing mathematics that cannot be moved. And somewhere in the pilot's seat is a worn deck of cards that she shuffles when she's thinking. A sound that's become, without anyone saying it, the sound of the fire drake at peace, unchased and at a cruising speed. There's a vibration in the deck There's a vibration in the deck plating just aft of the cargo hold, where Buffalo has diagnosed the sound several times, 17 as a matter of fact, and he's fixed it 11 times. The cargo hold still smells faintly of Aketi, that green rot humidity the jungle world puts into everything. It'll be the air recycler's job for another day at least to get rid of it. Corrigan has opinions about that. But the fire drake moves through the Breck sector at a comfortable cruise.
A union man with silver hair and words that cut like steel. A mechanic with a faith he keeps and engines he can feel. Pilot runs the numbers while the odds are running thin, and a noble born from somewhere else who led the way back in. We're flying on the wrong side of right, got a stolen ship and a borrowed night. The hegemony can burn for all we care. We're the fire in the dark out there. We're the fire in the dark out there. A Xeno noble far from home who burned her whole life down. A syndicate raised wrench monkey who found his face somehow. They don't agree on much beyond the ship beneath their feet and the quiet under understanding that this crew don't accept defeat.
Well, howdy, friends and floorheads. So last week, from scratch, we created a ship and 4 very interesting characters. And now we get to see them come alive. So this is the day after the job where you dropped off the weapons crate. And I want to check in with each one of you. And I think I want to start with Oscar. So Buffalo, I feel like you've gotten a good night's sleep. Where do you think we find you this morning?
This morning, I think we find Oscar entering into the engine room and first stopping by where that seeker trinket is. Oscar stops and puts it to his head, gives it a little kiss, then goes over to where the vibration is on the floor.
We're going for the 12th time.
Yeah. Oscar grabs from above a spot on a wall that nobody really notices, a large rivet gun with a very heavy handle. And he stops and steps about 4 inches closer to the paneling, moves a couple inches over to the right, because he knows where he has to be for this. And then immediately crouches down and starts bashing against one specific spot with the handle of the rivet gun, swearing and cursing the entire time in 8 different languages, none of which make entire sense to anybody. And the vibration decreases maybe a couple of decibels.
And I feel like, Oscar, or Buffalo, I'll call you Buffalo, that I think your mind wanders as you're kind of in the zone, doing what you do, which is keeping the Drake together, keeping the Drake running. And you're remembering the job yesterday. And the frigate that you guys docked with to pick up the cases of weapons had no insignias, no official signatures or call signs. It was trying hard to hide who owns it and who the crew worked for. You noticed something, only something that somebody with your skill sets would notice. What was it about the crates that made you make sure that you had your sidearm for the second part of the job?
Most people, when they're looking at crates, and Buffalo's very familiar with spotting this kind of stuff because he's from Sonhandra. And he's a little bit of smuggling, a little bit of small package trade, a little bit of item trading back and forth. Markings on things tend to change as they are wont to do. But what doesn't change is the physical structure of hinges, of locks and latches. And what he was noticing was that these appeared to be very official hegemony latches. That the design, the strength that they try and put into it, the angles of it. This wasn't anybody else. This was boss stuff.
I want to cut to the cockpit. And this isn't a small cockpit because the Fire Drake is a large ship. This is a cockpit that has seating for everybody if they needed it, but there's only one person in her seat, the pilot's seat. Can you catch us up? What's Talia doing right now?
Of course, yeah. So not much. You will see her cockpit seat. She can actually spin around in it. So she is laying across the seat, just kicking the front of the controls to keep spinning as she's like reshuffling her cards. Not necessarily mumbling to herself, but you can tell she's deep in thought after this mission. She still has that weathered olive cloak on, her glasses on, and she is just thinking.
And I think your mind wanders to the job from yesterday as well, Odds. And the 4 of you took the shuttle off the Drake to go planetside to Aketi, loaded with the crates once you got it off of the ship that you had docked with a few hours before. And something went sideways on your descent into Aketi. It always does on a jungle planet like this. What was it, and who in the crew had your back that let you make sure that the shuttle landed safely?
Okay, yeah. So jungle planets like this is a little bit more underdeveloped, we will say. So they don't really have the necessary anything in place for truly a shuttle down. So sometimes our computer systems reach out for a safe landing pad and find nothing, and it starts to skits out just a little bit. Um, and with that, I do believe Corrigan did help me out. He
Okay.
definitely had my back. 110%.
Beautiful. Well, the good news is you obviously got the shuttle there safely, and you were able to dock next to Zokar Pava's hideout there. I want to now go over to our little silent retreat, our little observation bubble on the side of the ship where we find Zev. Zev, can you give me an idea of what we see?
Zev is sitting cross-legged on her cushion, the one that nobody touches, no matter what. This is her space and hers alone. She's been meditating quietly for a few hours now, just feeling harmonious and in tune with the lull of the ship. But as everyone starts to wake up and begin their morning routines, she allows her hair to glow a little bit brighter, not worried about lighting up the place and waking everyone up anymore. A tendril of her hair flicks out and swipes on her data pad as she reads through the morning news.
And Zev, as you're flipping through the morning news, you get an intrusive memory from yesterday. It was a job. And just like every job, the reason you get paid for it is because it takes talent, it takes luck, and it takes skill. And for you, you knew going into this that Aketi is a very dangerous planet. And you know that Zokar Pava, who you're selling these crates to, is a dangerous man. What did you see using your waysight in that cargo bay of his hideout that made you hurry the transaction and push everyone to get their asses back on the shuttle?
Being attuned to the way as I am, I can't help but feel drawn to the signatures of living things. I don't know what exactly was in the crates on the far left corner of the cargo bay, but I know that they were in pain. And if I could hear them, they would have been screaming.
But it was a success. You very quickly signaled to the rest of the crew, wrap it up. We need to get out of here. And you guys did. You took the shuttle back up to the fire drake and had a relatively peaceful evening once you got some distance between yourselves and that terribly dangerous planet. Now, I was going to jump to Corrigan, but Corrigan is still asleep. We're not sure where Jesse is, but hopefully Jesse will come back. A subspace message comes through, and Talia, it's always going to come through the cockpit first. And it is asking to have a live connection. And it's coming from someone named Jazi, who, Talia, you don't really know Ja, but you know Corrigan is very close to Ja. You also recognize that Corrigan is dead asleep, and the last thing that he would want is to be awoken right now. So if it's okay, I'm going to have you forward that off to Zev, who also has interacted with Ja before.
That's actually quite the best thing because I wasn't going to answer it. So
Okay.
before hanging up, it's like, let me just forward it to Zev.
And Zev, as you're sitting there, the little indicator comes up on your data pad. letting you know that you have a subspace call coming through from Jazi. A little surprising. Normally he would be talking to Corrigan, but maybe Corrigan's still asleep, so it's coming directly to you. And Jazi is a diplomat within the hegemonic alliance who sympathizes with what the four of you are trying to do, which is to make a living outside of hegemonic control and knock the hegemony down a notch or two along the way. When you activate the call, the video feed starts, and Jazi is a disarmingly handsome man. He's in his early 50s. He's got kind of a Clark Gable face with a mustache. He's got white streaks in his hair, always dressed in diplomatic garb, like he's always working. And he goes, "Oh, my lady, I was trying to get in touch with Corrigan."
Zev sends a pulse out, sensing through the way to see if Corrigan is awake yet. And
He is. Let's bring him back in.
feels him stirring.
All right, give me just one. So, Corrigan, we had you asleep during a bit of this. So what I'm going to do, we have Javi, your diplomatic friend, is calling you, but I want to rewind just a little bit, and I want to check in with you before that call happens. So, Corrigan, you've already confirmed that the 2 cred stick that Zolkar gave you still has the cred in it, so it wasn't a dummy payment. So you're able to get it deposited, and you guys are now officially paid. Did you sleep well last night?
Oh, I slept like the dead. The high G meds that I had to take for that approach, they knocked me out. They hit so hard. I mean, when that buzzing comes in whatever thing, and however she does that, I don't know. It's not a calm, but it's like a calm in my eardrum. But when that comes in and it buzzes me awake, it is with a groggy roll that I bring myself up and click my mag boots to the deck. I can feel like I stretched every vein. I'm too old for those drugs.
And before the call comes in, Corrigan, I want to flash back to you thinking a little bit about yesterday's job as well. And Zolkar Pava is not the kind of man who makes a transaction feel simple. There was something about this job that is still sitting with you almost now a day later. What is it? And have you brought this to anybody else's attention?
No, I haven't brought anybody else's attention because we were still getting clear and I had to bunk. But it comes to mind after a moment or two, really. As I'm getting up, it's on the top of the task list. For a meeting out in the middle of nothing. That was just a little too neat and clean. Everything was nice and organized. We were supposed to be meeting an outfit in the middle of the jungle. I swear that tech hadn't been there more than a couple of days.
So let's have Zev, realizing that Corrigan is now awake, go, the last thing you want to do is talk to this idiot. So you forward that video call right to you, Corrigan. And Jazi is a little surprised to see your face. Oh, they told me you were asleep.
Well, howdy. You're a sight for sore eyes. What can I do for you, Ja? I'm sorry, I'm feeling a bit rough.
You look a little worn. It's my understanding that you're in the Breck sector. Is my intelligence correct?
We might be out that way. Or perhaps we could be soon enough.
And
What you got going?
well, I got a little surprise. I have here that you've been doing business with Zolkar Pava?
Now that name does sound awful familiar.
Selling him crates of weapons. on a Keddy. And just to be clear, nobody's supposed to know about this job that you just did yesterday.
Right.
And it may not surprise you that Jazi knows about it, but it's still a little unsettling.
Now, Ja, does that sound like something I'd been mixing myself up in often?
I'll tell you, Corrigan, it sounds like something that is absolutely none of my business. Now, I'm sure you're flush with cred right now, but I have a favor as much as a job for you, and I'd like to put it in front of you.
Now, I might be a bit curious, given the nature of your previous questions. Are you asking Corrigan Gree and his crew, or are you asking for the assistance of a certain troubadour?
Oh, no. We need the Drake for this.
Oh, my.
So, I have been keeping very close tabs on a woman. Her name is Vesper Own. She works for the Guild of Engineers. She's a researcher, doing all kinds of different grav science, mumbo jumbo, the things that those engineers are always busy doing. And my intelligence was telling me that she'd been working on a prototype. I couldn't get any details about it, but the only thing that I have been able to figure out is that whatever it is she's been working on is potentially very dangerous. Which, of course, though I am part of the Hegemonic Alliance, praise be to the governor, I would prefer something that is truly dangerous not necessarily fall into a governor's hands, especially out here in Procyon. And I would also prefer it not fall into a syndicate's hands, where it could be used irresponsibly. Is what I'm making sense so far?
It is, so far.
There's a problem, as there often is, otherwise I wouldn't be calling you. I have lost track of her. She has not shown up at her guild office in over 3 days. And I got word that she's on Nightfall. So a little bit of background. Nightfall is a planet in the Breck sector. It is kind of the social center of Procyon. Even though Breck is one of the outer sectors within Procyon, this is where people go to shop, to vacation, to be entertained. A lot of it is very metropolitan, all different strata. You've got the richest of the rich and the governors that spend their time in Nightfall. And even some of the blue collar workers will take their leave, shore leave on Nightfall as well. I got word that she's in the Yaw port, which, as you know, the 13 moons on Nightfall make night and day very unpredictable. Eclipses can last 22, 23 hours. Eclipses, we can have day lock that can last for 2-3 days in a row. And it makes for things entertaining. And we also know that there's heavy syndicate activity in Yawport as well. So my concern, Corrigan, is that our friend Vesper has got ideas, and that she might be looking to sell whatever this thing she's been working on. Now, I'm not involved at all in this, of course, but I have brokered a buyer. And this is a buyer that I would feel comfortable getting their hands on this prototype, and I've been assured, and I believe them, that they will destroy it. I'm going to tell you who the buyer is, Corrigan, but I ask you don't hang up.
Why do I find my hands already drifting toward the end call button?
I know you and the Lost Legion are not the best of friends. I know that they are slightly unhappy with your association with the ghosts, and there's been some sticking points between the two of you.
That's a funny way to put trying to shoot my ass.
Well,
Putting a hole in our ship. My mechanic's still talking about that.
But I just want you to llisten to me. If we can get this prototype to them, they will destroy it, because they also do not want the Hegemonic Alliance to get their hands on it, and they, of course, would never want the Syndicate to get their hands on it. And when the Lost Legion says they're going to do something, the one thing you can tell about these ex-soldiers is that they will do what they say. And I think it could potentially start to repair your relationship with them.
I see where you're going with it. Jai, you left out something very important, though. You're talking objects, you're talking plans, you're talking prototypes. What are your intentions towards this scientist, this engineer?
Well, really not part of the discussion, to be quite honest with you, Corrigan. I don't know whether you need to talk her into handing it over, convincing her to hand it over, taking it from her, whether it be from her warm or cold hands. I leave that up to the four of you. So her fate ultimately does not matter. What's key is that we get our hands on that prototype and we get it to the Lost Legion. I've arranged for them to meet you once you send me the signal within orbit of Nightfall. And they've assured me that despite the bad blood between the two of you, they will pay you and they will take care of this prototype. And for us, Corrigan, it's another favor. A favor that you do for me, for favors that I've done for you.
Well, I hear you. I know you've been good by us, Jar. I'll take it to the crew. Nothing without a vote. Just understand, I'm going to take you to your word that you have no particular interest in the health and safety or perhaps the possession of the individual behind these ideas. You know how I feel about that.
I'm barely involved in any of this. I am strictly a broker. Strictly trying to help you mend your relationship with the Lost Legion. That is the only thing I care about, outside of the fact that whatever that is that she created has to be taken out of Nightfall.
Right. Nice piece of duct tape. Keep these two pieces together. All right, then.
So just send a note to my secretary, tell him that you're good for lunch, and I'll know the job is on.
Back to you inside the hour.
So where do we cut to, Corrigan? Where do we bring everybody together?
I think it takes Corrigan a good shower before it can shake that off. But it does drop a note with folks that we might have a potential job. See you in 20. And then, this has got to be the kind of conversation we have in the mess, right, guys?
I think so.
Or are we like a talk on the bridge kind of crew? What are we feeling?
If there aren't snacks, I'm not showing up, candidly.
Mess.
So it is. So it is.
So let's cut to the mess. Everybody's there. Talia, what are you eating and drinking?
So I like this very alien to my system drink. It always gives me a bad stomachache after always, and I keep drinking it. It's kind of like the situation with lactose intolerant people who always eat ice cream.
Right.
That situation is going there with this drink. And then just a sub.
Beautiful. And Corrigan, as you walk in, Oscar, where are you in the mess?
Most likely pouring a coffee and at the same time just smacking the digital display on the coffee machine so that it goes from a 0 to a 4. Slightly pleased with himself. And takes his plate of reconstituted eggs and goes have a sit, sits down at the table.
How about Zev? Oh, go ahead, Corrigan.
I was going to say, I think as I'm walking by, you're making the turn from the machine to the table. I take that second cup of coffee that you had in your hand, and I go over to sit by the sink where I'm sipping coffee and cleaning up the mess from the night before while we have the conversation.
Beautiful. How about Zev?
Zev is sitting a few chairs away from our pilot, looking almost judgmentally at her as she sips on what should not be consumed in the quantities that Odds is consuming this beverage. She can't get the wrinkle off of her nose and just keeps like having a twitch in the back of her neck as she just uncomfortably cannot look away. She has an apple in her hands and isn't eating it yet, but is just turning it around and watching it as it almost hovers in the air around her fingers.
The floor is yours, Corrigan.
Now, before we start, I gotta check something. Zev, I gotta confirm. There's no, like, radiation when you send me those messages, right? Because my ear is still hurting. I just worry you might be melting our brains. We have comms, you know.
The comms clearly didn't wake you up.
I can make him louder if you want.
Oh, no.
Zev
Not
goes,
again.
No, it's not a problem.
No.
Not a problem. I'll tell you what.
Nah,
I'll
we
ratchet
can-
him up a little bit. You're going to be fine.
We've been down this road. Well,
I'm not the one who slept through an important call from my colleague, am I?
well, as to the stories of my sleeping through that all-important call with a potential job, I would like to point out that I did indeed make it eventually.
Now, I know that you humans need your rest, but honestly,
Yeah.
Zev,
with the stuff that you're on, nobody should be sleeping that soundly.
hey, I'll be happy if I never have to take those drugs again. But we were pulling too many G's on the approach. I had to go out and pull some of the old tricks. And, yeah, it's just not safe to go out and do that unless you got a little bit of extra stuff going through your system, especially not at my age.
So
She
not
rolls
an
her eyes.
intervention yet.
Sorry?
Ephemeral humans. So, what is it about this job?
Well, what we're being given seems to be an engineer named of Vespa Oma. Has come up with some sort of idea, some sort of prototype that's gotten people all up, got their hackles all up. Lost Legion might get their hands on it, and they're paying big. Yeah, it's being presented to us as a way to maybe lower our heat with them. And considering how many missiles they have, I don't mind the idea of that. Job is to go to Nightfall, find this woman, figure out who she is first, and then recover the prototype, deliver it back on to the Lost Legion. Not many questions asked after that point.
And the human?
Well, they don't seem too interested in the human behind the ideas, so I'm hoping maybe we can try a soft approach. But rumor mill seems to be suggesting that she's on Nightfall perhaps to sell the thing, so we might be in some sort of a bidding war, competition. Syndicate's the noise.
Odds raises her hand.
I wait.
She has her hand raised.
She goes a little higher.
Yes.
Odds, yes.
Okay. Yes. So it's interesting because what if we do this a soft approach and we, let's say, convince her to give us her baby, her the thing that she's been probably working on her entire life until she sells it. What's stopping her from making it again?
Far as I know, not a damn thing. Nor do I
Right?
necessarily mind the idea of that. Earnest work, I figure it belongs to her in the first place.
I am curious what it is. Have you, and I'll look to Buffalo. Do you know this mechanic by chance? Not saying that you all know each other, but
So this actually opens up something that's a neat thing we can do.
Mhm.
So at the answer from for you buffaloes, you've never heard of Vesper Ohm. But each one of you on your character sheets, you have contacts. You've got both a friend and a rival. We've already talked to Jazi, which is Corrigan's friend. One of the things that you can do is you guys can gather information. And you can do that many different ways, reaching out to one of your friends, one of your contacts, doing some research. But essentially, the way you do this is you tell me, hey, Craig, this is the type of information I want to seek out. Here's how I'm going to do it. And then we can see how much information you can find. So does anybody want to do some gather information?
Well, from here, I'd propose I'd actually make contacts with some of the folks that are actually in the travel industry.
Okay.
It's a bit of a vacation planet, but this person, to our knowledge, was traveling in. We don't know if maybe they're going in under an alias, but I can cross-reference a few things, take a few likely sites, and just do a bit of fishing. Everybody who goes to Nightfall's got to stay somewhere. And if they're thinking about selling something of high value, they're staying somewhere with a bit of a higher security. So I can make some assumptions and start some leads that way to start trying to find the person.
Wait, bless you, Corrigan. Did you say it was at nightfall? Oh,
At
my
your
goodness.
port.
We have to take the job. We have to go. They
Hey.
have the best moonbeam cakes in the entire realm. I was just reading about this the other day. There's no way we can say no to this job. Zev lights up. Her hair is glowing bright. Her fingertips are like a bright golden, and she just cannot sit still. She's immediately filled with enthusiasm.
Look at how happy she is. We kind of gotta go now, right?
Well, that's 2 votes.
And what's yours?
I give Josh shit, but honestly, they've been true by us so far. I figure it's not a bad deal if we can get in, get out, get a bit clean with the Lost Legion.
That's about all I care about, and get a little bit more breathing room with them. The job
Yeah.
itself doesn't matter. You have details on the size, shape, weight, dimensions, etc. of this object.
Ja did not seem to have that information for us unless she dropped a vid in my mail.
No.
Maybe after you say yes.
Told her we'd get back to her in about 35 minutes or so. There was one more thing. The research was something to do with gravitics or something along those lines.
Ooh.
Eyeing our pilot.
Ooh. I how did you know? How did you know?
Every time you're 2 drinks in, you will not stop telling us about your days doing research.
This is true. I am an amazing researcher. Predictive probability, spatial mechanics sometimes, theoretical jump stability, things like that, super simple. Okay. Yes, I was also, thinking about stopping at a few other locations while we're on Nightfall. They have a great entertainment section. Amazing.
So let's go ahead and jump to the gather information with Corrigan. So Corrigan, it sounds like you're going to reach out to some of your contacts that have access to travel records, maybe checking IDs as the people get planetfall and so on and so forth. See if we can't figure out where Miss Vesper might be. So looking at your potential actions, what is your approach here?
Okay. Great question. Let me pull up my sheet because something happened to it. Wonder what. Okay. So looking down my sheet, I've got different skills in here. And really what I'm thinking of is a consort. Since I'm pulling on previously established, connections, resources. I think I'm leading with a consort.
Love it. Love it.
And
go ahead.
Go for it.
No, please.
And just the approach is honestly calling up an old friend as Corrigan, an old contact, and seeing if I've got to go one step remove.
Mm-hmm.
I can't just straight go like, oh, Bob knows. But Bob knows someone who knows.
Perfect.
So I'm reaching out to Bob and saying, hey, Bob, I could use a little bit of information here. Make it connect. How's your mom? Kind of stuff. and then see what Bob can hook me up with.
So every time we do an action roll in this game, and that's what this is, we're doing a consort. We need to talk about what success looks like. So Corgan, if you're successful at this, what information do you want? What does success look like?
I want at least 3 people who are likely contenders for being this person. I'm assuming there may be an alias involved, and where we would find them.
Perfect. Definitely controlled. You're dealing with your own contacts. You're not trying to be anybody else. These are safe connections that you're making. So this is definitely controlled, and I think standard effect. If you succeed, you'll get what you want. So let's go ahead and do a consort roll. How many pips do you have in consort?
I have 2 pips in consort.
All right, beautiful. Now, if you'd like, you could push yourself and take 2 stress to add a die. You could take a devil's bargain to add a die if you'd want.
Much as I love the system of devil's bargains and pushing ourselves, I think at this moment in time, this feels a little bit milk runny.
Sure.
And it doesn't feel like, I don't know why he'd be feeling the stress. So I'm actually like, this is a little more low key. I'm also curious what my teammates come up with for search strategies. Yeah. So I'm going to keep it fairly calm and chill and just get a good coffee and ring Bob.
All right. So this is going to be 2 dice and we're going to take the highest.
Can I just click this button and it does a thing?
Yeah. You click consort. It'll ask you the position, which is controlled.
Aha.
And then it'll ask you for the effect, which is standard. And there's no bonus dice.
Yay, roll 20. Nice and neat.
All right, nice and simple. With a consort, you rolled a 3 and a 4. So a 1, 2, and a 3 is a fail. 4, 5 is a success with consequences. A 6 is a success. What's key here is you rolled a 4. That's your highest number. So you're going to get exactly what you want. And I'm going to give you that information, and then we'll talk about consequences.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to talk through a few people. No, you got to talk to Sue. Sue's the one that tracks all of that. So you get bounced around a little bit, I think, Corgan, but ultimately, I think you might be surprised. One, Vesper did not try to hide herself. So she came on planet, used her own name. They cross-checked that. It matches what they have in the system. So it was her picture. And she's at the Luminant Market. So the Luminant Market is a stretch in the Yaw Port that is where most of the transitions, the harsh transitions between light and dark happen. And it's a bit of a celebration when it happens. So during the day, when there's no eclipse, the night market is pretty quiet. There's a couple stations there, places selling food and trinkets and things like that. But during an eclipse, when the night comes, the place lights up literally and becomes just the place to be, the entertainment mecca of the entire Procyon sector. And you find out not only did she get planetside yesterday, but she does show up as spending time at the long eclipse, which you find out is a tourist bar inside of the Luminant Market. For consequence, because of all the bouncing around, I think there's a little bit of word gets out that that someone's asking questions. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 1 heat in the Breck sector. And that's something we'll deal with and talk about during downtime. Anybody else want to do some gather information before we get started?
Yes. I think I have an idea. So I do have a friend called Miris who is a scoundrel.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to reach out to him and ask, like, hey, I'm just looking around for something with gravity that's in the area, just a new item to buy. Did you hear of anything?
Beautiful. All right, what is sounds like, what action are we thinking here?
I'm thinking either consort or skulk because it's like misdirection, but consort because this is one of my friends.
So I'll tell you, you'll get a better effect if you use consort. You can definitely use skulk, but I don't think you'd get the same quality information trying to be sneaky. It feels very similar to what Corgan did to a certain degree. So I'm
Yeah.
okay with that being a consort, controlled, and standard.
Okay. Consort, control, submit. Submit. I did hit submit, so I'm not sure what's. I'll try it again.
Yep.
Standard. Submit. No bonus die.
Yeah. There we go. Very nice. A pure 6. You rolled 1 die. You got yourself a pure 6. All right. Remind me your scoundrel's name.
Miris.
So you get a subspace video connection with Miris. Miris, gender?
Mel.
Okay. You catch him. He's eating breakfast. He's wiping his mouth and goes,
Yeah.
Talia, hey,
Yo.
are you in trouble again?
Oh no, not even a little bit.
Okay.
I need your expertise though. You're
He
great
kinda
at
looks
things.
around like are you talking to me? Oh no, yeah, of course.
You are, yeah, intelligent. I'm looking for a buyer's market on any new gravitational things that maybe a mechanic build. Something maybe that's on a black market. I don't know. Can you lead me in the right direction?
Did you drop some spy equipment or something on me?
No, I didn't drop spy equipment on you. Okay, I'm looking for
Because you're
something
kind of
that
freaking
is-
me out a little bit right now.
All right, I'm looking for something that Vespa Oma created and trying to sell.
And
Can you help
see
me
him like
find what it
lifting up
is?
objects on his little desk to see if there's listening devices? Yeah, no, I know all about that. And I'll tell you, there's been a lot of word out about this. She's some sort of guild engineer, and I think she's been working on some sort of crazy graph type thing. And there's supposed to be a whole auction at the luminescent market. That they're going to sell it, but I wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole because you got the Dyranet gang controls all of luminescent market. So those assholes, like, you don't want to get involved with them. And I hear that they have been rolling up and working with the Bono Rico Syndicate, and that the Bono Rico Syndicate has been getting pretty involved there. So, hey, Talia, you take a lot more chances than I ever would, but I think I would stay clear of this and maybe like deliver vegetables or something to somebody.
Maybe one day, but starting out there. What time? What day? Give me a little bit more details.
I've got it here somewhere, and he's like papers and
Thank
data
you.
pads and stuff, and he goes, I don't know exactly where or when. It's something. I think it's sometime in the next 48 hours, I guess. And well, I can tell you this, Talia, if the Borinko Syndicate is truly involved, which, you know, if action's going down there, they've got their fingers in it some way. I'm sure it'll be underground, probably underground in the underway. So the underway is an entire literal underground network below the luminescent market, where a lot of the shadier stuff tends to happen. And according to your friend, the Borinko Syndicate has now control over the underway.
Borinko Syndicate and Derek. Okay. All right. Thanks, Miris. What would I do without you?
Oh, we'll talk about that later. And then the connection goes.
Yeah.
All right. Any other gather information, or do you think we have enough to get the job started? All right. Let's talk about a thing called the engagement role. So we have a whole montage where the four of you are sitting there and planning out this entire job. You've gotten some critical information. You know who, you know where. Because of Talia, you roughly know when. The four of you are very good at this. The four characters. The four players are not as good at this, and that's fine. We don't need them to be. We're going to go ahead and let the characters do this job. So while they're planning, we're going to do a thing called an engagement role. And essentially what the engagement role is going to do is it's going to allow me to drop you right into the middle of the job, and we're just going to start playing without any planning. But I want to know, what kind of a situation am I going to drop you into? Is it going to be things are going terrible, things are going okay, as well as they can, or are things going really well? But the first thing I need to understand is there's 6 different potential approaches. So your overall approach of how you're going to do this job, you can do it with assault, which means essentially you're going to use violence. You can do it with deception. This is to lure, trick, or manipulate to get what you want to do the job. Infiltration, if you want to try to do it unseen. Mystic, if you want to engage mystic powers in the way, or some powers or some artifacts. You can use social if you want to negotiate, bargain, or persuade. Or you can use transport if you want to do it to carry cargo or people through danger. So what do you think the 4 of you are using for your approach? Who has thoughts?
Just, I guess I'll start. Top of my head, maybe we should go with social. Because I know at least a few of y'all are a lot more socially gifted than I. Maybe.
How do we feel about that?
I like somewhere in the social and like transport extraction version of transport, perhaps, scenario. Because I think this is somebody, I think we've got a novice who's going to need a gentle guiding towards a door quickly.
Yeah, the fact that she's using her real name and has entered this underworld of a very heavily populated planet that's well known throughout the system tells me that we need to get in there, use our social skills, perhaps an opportunity for some mystic powers to be leveraged if necessary, but we're mostly relying on human connection.
Oscar, how do you feel about a social approach?
Not exactly Oscar's main bag. I mean, Oscar is sitting here trying to think of the logistics of it. Like, all right, so we're underneath. How do we move this object, which we still don't necessarily know how big it is, from point A to point us, and get it the hell out of there and delivered? And Oscar is more focused on how are we going to accomplish that? I was wondering whether or not are we trying to deceive this person. I don't necessarily. Oscar doesn't really care about this creator, but the job is not the creator. The job is this item.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm more inclined to go with deception or transport myself as sort of a ways and means kind of thing. But that's where Oscar's coming in.
I mean, there's a fair point to the, we're not looking to buy this thing.
That's true.
So why would this person skip a sale?
To be fair, we can also kidnap them.
That you can definitely do. So this might
Every time.
If we want to get rid of the variables, we go right to the source.
So this might help, right? So we're looking, it sounds like between deception and social. Once you pick your approach, I need one detail from you. So if you choose deception, the detail I need is the method of your deception. If you choose social, I need the social connection. So you'll have to give me one piece of detail before we start the job. So which of those things makes more sense? To go deception and tell me the method of your deception, or to go social and give me the social connection?
Yes.
Who has an opinion? Let's get going.
I mean, you want to leverage our brilliant team here. We have people who are literally experts in mechanics and physics who could definitely have a conversation with a head engineer about a gravity object that they've created. I feel like that for somebody who's an expert in their field and gets really nerdy, like there's nothing better than talking to people who speak your language and can understand you. That'll probably go over a lot better than trying to pull one over on them.
I think we're doing two parts. It's a deception. We are creating the motivation. All right, we're going to light a fire to get this person to incline them towards making the decision to come along with us, and then making that also as easy a choice as we could make it. And so as for the deception approach, I think we might be looking to turn up the heat and offer a door.
And from social, it sounds like... Yeah, and the social connection sounds like the connection between potentially Oscar Talia and this worker. All right, let's pick one.
I think it sounds more like at this point we're going with social in the form of Talia trying to create the connection and then establishing it from there.
Beautiful. All right, so let's do that. It sounds like the social connection, we're going to focus on Talia with the help of Oscar being able to speak this woman's language. I mean, Talia has made her own prototype, which unfortunately is now part of the ship. And we hope with Oscar's help that it'll not cause the ship to blow up, but that's a whole nother discussion.
So it's a little temperamental.
All right. So Talia, I'm going to have you do the engagement roll. So we have a few questions to answer before we roll this. One is this operation particularly bold or daring?
I mean, according to the info we got, the deets, it's definitely it's for sure at least bold.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, we're talking about territory, what we believe is run by the Borinko Syndicate, hegemonic Guild of Engineers participant. I think this is definitely bold or daring. You're talking about taking something that is going to be auctioned off the auction block without buying it and getting it the hell off this planet. So that'll give you get one die just for being awesome. You get a second die for being bold. The second question is this operation overly complex or contingent on many factors? I think so.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
This is not a smash and grab. So you drop a die for that. So we're back to one die. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're at their weakness? I think it does. I think the fact that you can talk turkey with this woman is a huge advantage. So I'm going to give you a die for that. Does the target have particular defenses or special preparations against this? I don't think so. So that leaves you with 2 dice. And then are there any other elements you might want to consider? Maybe a lower tier target that gives you a +1 die, maybe higher tier target. Yeah, I think the fact that you're tier 0 and your target is hegemonic guild and potentially the Bonrico Syndicate, that's going to lose a dice. We're going to roll 1 die. So Talia, in the upper, on the left-hand column there, just click the little D20 die there and just roll me a D6.
Wait, what?
So on the left-hand side of roll 20, you can see on the little toolbar there, there's a little dice symbol. It looks like a D20. Yes. Click on that and then click 1D6 and it should roll it for us.
1D6. Oh.
Okay. So a 1 is a bad result. Yep. You're going to start off in a desperate position. We're now going to cut directly to the middle of the job after we take a 10-minute break. We'll be back to start.
That's the worst possible.
So 2 details very quick before I drop you in. One is the gambits. So because of the special, normally you'd get 2 gambits with the Fire Drake, but you guys have 3 because you chose that ability. That means at any point, any 4 of you can spend a gambit. And what that represents is just sheer luck. And you get to add a die to an action roll. And that'll refresh on the next job. So it's a use it or lose it type proposition. You'll want to use your 3 gambits. If you roll a 6 on a risky or a desperate action at any point, you gain a gambit. So the gambits can go up and down over time. So that's already on the Fire Drake's sheet. You've got your 3 gambits. I've already got it marked for you. Another neat mechanic in Forged in the Dark and in Scum and Villainy is the idea of loadout. So again, Dee, Dika, Matt, and Jesse, you don't know what the hell to bring with you on this job, but your characters do, because your characters are very good at this and they're always prepared. So you have a long list of items. There's on your character sheet, one section of items that you all have access to, and they have little dots next to them, little boxes. And then below that are ones that are specific to your playbook, specific speaker and specific mystic items. Think of that as like Schrodinger's loadout. At any point in time, you can say, I'm going to bring out my luxury item. I'm going to bring out my blaster pistol. In which case you then mark it, because that's what you brought, because you knew you needed to have a blaster pistol with you. You planned for this. The only thing you need to decide beforehand is not what you're bringing, but how much you're bringing. And you've got 3 options. So at the very top of that list, you've got what's called your load. You can do a light load, which will let you mark 3 boxes. And you'll note that some of those have 2 boxes for the loadout. Light load means you are completely inconspicuous. So if anybody were to see you walking down the street, they would not think you're on a job. You just blend into the crowd. Nothing big. You've got a normal loadout. Think of it like maybe you might have a bag with you or a backpack or something to let you carry a little bit more. Something just somebody randomly walking down the street wouldn't carry, but also not enough that would make anybody stop you. Or you could bring a heavy loadout, which gives you access to 6 items. But anybody who sees you goes, I don't know what they're up to, but it's trouble, because they've got 3 bags, a suitcase, and a backpack. So let's start with Zev. Zev, do you think you're going to go light, normal, or heavy?
I think I'll go normal.
All right, so go ahead and mark normal, which will give you access to 5 dots. Corrigan?
I think I'm going in light.
Corrigan's going in light. Oscar?
I think I'll go in light, given the fact that you were sending Oscar was coming in as sort of a front person, so he's probably not carrying a lot of stuff.
And odds. What's your loadout?
Light.
All right, perfect. We jump to the Long Eclipse. The Long Eclipse is a pretty well-known tourist bar inside the Luminant Market. It is like the size of a Walmart. It is huge with multiple bars, multiple levels, 30-foot tall ceilings. There is bioluminescent plants all over providing light, giving kind of a neon effect. Different parts of the bar are crowded. Some parts of the bar are not. There's dance floors, there's gambling, just all kinds of activity. And all of this is happening inside the Luminant Market. And the Luminant Market, I want you to imagine when the eclipse starts and when night begins, this place lights up like Bourbon Street, where you've got bars and restaurants and vendors and stores and people shuffling and moving up and down, shoulder to shoulder in the streets. The 4 of you have been staking out the Long Eclipse and are kind of huddled together in one of the non-busier sections of the bar, but gives you a nice view of the entire place. And as you've been looking, you found Vesper. She's across on the other side of the bar, at kind of a smaller, not very crowded bar. At one point, she looked and turned. You saw her face full and realized that's her. The fact that she's wearing a coverall for the Guild of Engineers just tells you maybe how not savvy this woman is as far as trying to sell illegal goods. You also saw her now take her third drink. And we're going to start with you noticing two things. One, her head heavily hitting the bar and her hand letting loose of the glass and it rolling down the bar. So whatever she has been drinking, it looks like it got to her. The bartender hasn't quite noticed yet. There's two guys on either side of her that have been kind of talking her up a little bit. They seem to have noticed. That creates a bit of a sticky situation. But this is a desperate position you're starting in. So the other thing you notice is the red dot laser sight on the back of her head.
Hey, Odds, you might want to accelerate your approach a little bit. I think things get a bit spicy. And then I turn to the bartender. Their name is Zinnia.
No, real clear. You're on the other side of this place, so you're not within talking.
Yes.
Do you want to talk to that bartender?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you're going to bolt your ass over there. Go ahead.
Right. Well, I'm at this bar. I know I'm far away.
Okay.
But this is the bartender that I've been talking to for the last half hour.
Perfect.
I know their mom. I know their dad. I know their relations. They know I'm cool.
Yep.
But I draw Zinnia's attention to the woman who just dropped and two men that are right on either side of her. I say, now, Zinnia, you and I have been having a great conversation, but I've been noticing that woman down at the end of the bar, and she's been getting a little bit loopy, and I'm concerned about what those two men may have dropped in her drink. Can you throw a flag? Can you go let somebody know down there know that she needs assistance?
Honey, I'm not going to get involved in anybody's business. That's you got to go talk to go talk to Dita. Dita's running that bar. But I'll do a shot with you.
All right, one quick shot.
Now, if you would like to try to talk her into this, we can. You can change her mind.
I will. Over the shot while she's pouring. All right, I've got about 10 seconds. She's pretty good. She also knows she's got, paying, I pay, but I'm not buying the most expensive stuff. She's got other customers to get to. So I've got 10 seconds to try and make a play. The situation is rough, but I'm asking her to go outside her literal zone and at haste. So I feel like I'm asking for a good bit, but I'm also trying to get that big effect.
Yeah. So let's do this. They have a warning system that connects all the bars, right? Yeah. So she is in casual conversation told you that they've got a button that basically says, hey, pay attention to your bar. And they can shoot that signal to any of the bartenders. So it sounds like that's what you want to happen, right? Is you want the other bartender to realize what the hell is going on there. She initially says, that's not my bar. It's not my business, not my circus, not my monkeys. So success sounds like you're going to try to get her to press that button. Does that sound right?
Yes. I'm trying to activate a stall at the other bar as the other bartender walks up and says, hey, what's this? I'm buying time for my team.
Perfect. Okay. What's our action? Action?
I think this is a sway.
I agree.
Well, we have been consorting. I'm trying to convince her to do something outside of her norm. So I think I'm trying to sway her in this 10 seconds.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're going to get your best effect with a sway. So let's do this. Let's say it's definitely risky. For our engineer friend, it's desperate, but for you, it's risky. And I think you have great effect here. I think that you've been spending time with her. She likes you. So if you can convince her of this, she's going to make it very clear to that other bartender that other bartender needs to get involved in that situation.
Okay.
All right. So, do you want to push yourself? Would you like to spend 2 stress to gain a die? Okay.
Yeah. The red dot. That's a push for me. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So go ahead and mark yourself for 2 stress, and it's going to be risky great after you click on sway, and then you'll be able to add a die. So when it says bonus die, you're going to say 1 bonus die.
Sway. Risky. The effect is great.
Great.
Submit. Bonus die. Uno. I'll take that 6.
Very nice. You sure will. So what do we say to her? As the shots are pouring?
As the shots are pouring, I lean a little bit closer to the bottle. I can, get that little bit of a trickle like going in my ear and splattering up my face. Now, you were telling me about those times that were real rough, and I just gotta say, I feel for it, and it reminds me of all those girls who just need one moment, one chance for somebody to catch them and help them, and they can dodge a terrible situation. And yeah, we don't want another girl to go that way, do we?
And she leans in close to you as you're saying that, and completely frozen eye contact. And I think unexpectedly, she grabs your cheeks and pops you a kiss as you hear her slap the button under the bar. So Talia and Oscar and Zev, what you see suddenly is the red dot, her head's on the bar. These two guys seem to have intentions that are on either side of her. And all of a sudden, the bartender, who was not paying attention, immediately bolts up, makes eye contact over on your side of the establishment, and is starting to rush to take care of the young woman. So that's a pure success, Corgan. Well done. And you have bought Oscar, Talia, and Zev some time. What are we doing?
I'm gonna hustle over there.
Okay. Sounds like we're going to bolt over there. So Talia is going to run across and try to get to the other side of the bar quickly and get to our passed out friend. Oscar, what are you doing?
I'm gonna accompany Talia.
Okay, and Zev.
Zev doesn't think that what's happening at the bar is as big as a threat as the person who has a gun pointed at our target. She is going in the other direction, away from the bar, trying to figure out who has their sights on and where the sniper is positioned.
All right, so it sounds like I've got two different things here. I'm going to need an action roll from Zev to see if Zev can figure out where the source of this laser sight is. And then for Talia and Oscar, because of how crowded this bar is, because time is very limited, we're going to need a roll for you to get there in time as well. Let's start off with what is the less complicated one, which I think is Zev. So Zev, it sounds to me, and keep me honest here, what you're trying to accomplish is to figure out what the source of the red dot is.
Yes.
Okay. So looking on your list of actions, what do you think you want to use? What's your action? What's your approach?
So could I use insight and study to try to figure out where the light is coming from to maybe triangulate the location?
Yeah. So to be clear, you could use any of them, right? So what's neat about this is there's not one single action you can use. What changes is different actions will give you different positions and effect. I think study will give you the best position and effect, because what study says is you're trying to get the lay of the land, trying to check out the details. So I like study. It is also risky. That's your position. And then I think standard. I think that if you do succeed at this, you will be able to figure out the source here. So let's talk about a couple of the levers. You could push yourself for an extra die. You could take a devil's bargain for an extra die. It's one or the other. You can't do both. You could swap effect and position. So you could say, Craig, I want to make it desperate for a great effect, or I want to make it controlled for a lesser effect. What are your thoughts? Or you could do a straight roll.
Can I make it desperate for a great effect and take 2 stress to get an extra dice?
You definitely can do both of those things.
I would like to do both.
All right. And Corgan, you rolled a 6 on a risky. Can you open up the fire drake and give yourself an extra gambit? All right. So, Zev, you're now in a desperate position, which means if you do not succeed, it's going to go real bad. But the greater effect, I think, is going to do more than just tell you where the source of the dot is. So you're going to get a fantastic effect here. Go ahead and mark yourself for 2 stress. And then you're going to choose study. You're going to choose desperate. And then you're going to choose greater effect. And then you're going to give yourself a bonus die because you pushed yourself. And a 6 would be really good here. All right, 412. You got your 4, so you get your greater effect. There'll be a consequence, but gives you greater effect. The first thing I want you to do is anytime you take a desperate action, you gain an XP for that grouping. So up above study and insight, there's a little bar there. Mark one of those. That's 1 XP for taking a desperate action and insight. When you fill that up, you'll be able to add an action dot to one of those groupings. Zev, as you kind of look out, the front of the bar is all open air to the street. And you're quickly realizing not only where the red dot is, but there's like smoke machines and shit over the dance bar. And you're studying and you can see kind of the line of the laser coming through the some of the smoke that's above the dance floor. It makes you then look to the 2-story building across the street on the outside of the bar, on the other side of the street from the bar. And you see the rifle. And you can see somebody behind the rifle. But you got greater effect. So you also notice some sort of blue animal next to her. And your way sight makes it very clear that whatever this animal beast is, which you've never seen, it's about the size of a Doberman that's sitting next to her on the top of this building, is somehow energy connected to this rifle. You can see that way connection between this beast and the rifle. God, greater effect. I got to give you all kinds of goodies. You also will notice, Zev, that whoever this is behind the rifle is literally hyper-focused on the target, which you're pretty confident means that you could do a lot and she probably, or he probably wouldn't notice you. Okay, is that good enough for great effect? Beautiful. Consequence. The consequence is you realize, and you don't know who, but there's another way user in this bar, and you have gotten their attention. So you identifying the way connection between this beast and the gun has kind of tickled the way a little bit. So I'm going to introduce you guys to a mechanic called a clock. So would you do me a favor, Zevin, open up your sheet. And let's see, where is, so at the very bottom right, you see where it says clocks?
Mm-hmm.
Click on add for me. And this is going to be a 4 segment. So it says size, leave it at 4. Your progress is going to be at 1. So go ahead and click the 1. And I want you to name this clock way noticed. Now, other things are going to cause that talk to click. Once all 4 of it clicks, whoever this other way user is that's in the bar is going to realize it's you doing this. So they don't know it yet, but so the hair on the back of their neck has gone up. They know that somebody like you is present in the bar. Now let's cut to Oscar and Talia. We need to get to the other side of that bar. So what does success look like for the 2 of you?
I'd say success would be getting there quickly and somewhat unobtrusively, or at least in a way, if not unobtrusive, distracting enough that it's the kind of thing where it's like, oh, this kind of stuff happens. And so if we can't do it quiet, Oscar's thinking about doing it loud and very obvious.
So here's my question to the 2 of you, right? Because it seems like we've got 2 big factors here, which is covert, right? It'd be nice not to get noticed. It's nice to be able to get there without creating too much noise, because the job is always easier the less the people know what you guys are doing. But there's also a time factor here. Like the dot is on her head. So for Talia and Oscar, what matters more right now? Time or sneakiness?
Time. For me,
time.
is that time.
Okay. All right, so we're going to do a lead a group action, which means both of you are going to roll.
Okay.
For both of you, we're going to take the highest roll total between the 2 of you. That's going to be your result. I just need to know, who do you think between the 2 of you is leading this roll? So between the 2 of you, who's kind of leading the way? Who wants to take the lead here?
I think it depends how we want to go about this.
Let's talk about it.
Well, if we want to do this, and
Mhm.
I think at this point too, I've got an idea, Craig,
Okay.
for a bit of a flashback. if I
Oh,
may.
okay. Talk to me.
While everybody was out doing all of their other stuff, I'm seeing Oscar at the terminals in the Fire Drake, and with his hacking rig set up, and knowing that we're coming to this bar,
Mm-hmm.
looking for schematics, looking for the back doors, looking for the ways from the bar
Oh.
into other areas. This is a heavily traveled kind of thing. There's doors, there's maintenance access, there's where's the staff going. How do we get from point A to point B, and are there paths that can go?
Oh, that's interesting. So you know exactly every corner of this bar, when it was built, every passageway, where the staff goes, so they're not obstructed by the crowds and everything.
Mhm.
That I love that flashback. We flash back to you at a terminal, just bringing up schematics, maybe downloading them to a wrist storage or something like that.
Mhm.
One stress for that flashback, and don't take it yet because you got to figure out whether it's worth it or not. The
Yeah.
effect, what it's going to do is it's going to increase your effect by one level. So if it's limited effect, it'll make it standard. If it's standard effect, it'll make it greater. Do you want to spend one stress for this?
Yeah, I think so.
Great. All right. So this will increase your effect by one.
Okay.
So now, I just need to pick a leader here. And it really doesn't matter which one of you it is. Who's our leader, Talia or Oscar? Talia?
Oscar.
All right,
Okay.
Oscar,
Yeah.
you're going to lead them all. So
What I'm seeing is Oscar is kind of nudging Tyler, saying, "Odds, just roll with me on this,"
Gotcha.
and pushing his way through, heading directly towards this bar. Going, Vesper, baby, why would you go? Come on, come on, baby. I didn't mean to say it. We're gonna be fine. It's gonna all work out, baby. This is gonna be totally fine, and we're gonna make it work. And I'm so sorry, baby. And just going beelining directly towards her as loud as possible.
hey, we just had a raid with 95 people. Welcome everybody. We're playing Scum and Villainy, and you've came at the right place. We have just started the job. So Oscar, now I will tell you that these schematics, you've marked the stress, so you did have this flashback. You realize that right next to where you're standing, there is a access door that you could dip into, and like a vacuum tube, it will flash you to behind the bar and just take you straight across.
Yeah. Okay.
If you
Well,
want to
that's
take
the
advantage
case.
of that. So that's going to take care of the time.
Well, let's
process.
if we do that, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd rather because we're really operating more on speed, but
Yep.
yeah,
Yep,
the cover will be. Oh no, baby! I didn't mean it. Kind of.
And
feeling.
you're going to pop out behind the bar, which I think is interesting. So let's take a look at your actions, Oscar. What is your approach? What action do you want to take to accomplish this? And that is to get there before the shot gets fired, right?
I
The
like
red dot is
scram-
on her head. What are
Scramble.
you thinking? Scramble. I love scramble. All
I
right.
think
So
scramble for this.
your position normally with this scramble would be risky,
Mm-hmm.
standard.
Okay.
So normally I would have you get there in time before the shot is fired, but because of the flashback, it's going to make it a greater effect.
Okay.
Now, my next question for you is, do you want to push yourself? And do you want to take an extra die for 2 stress? Do you want to take a devil's bargain? Do you want to change this to desperate
my
to an extreme?
Oh boy, look at all the pressure I'm getting from everybody. I'm going to use one of the gambits that we have.
Oh,
We're sitting on
fantastic.
gambits. I don't see.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and go to the Drake.
Let's.
Let's mark Gambit as being used. That's going to give you an extra die. Hey, Robert Harley. Yes, this is a Forged in the Dark, which means it's based off of the game Blades in the Dark, and it is kind of a Firefly Star Wars theme. Our 4 crew members are trying to get their hands on a guild member who's created this prototype before she sells it on the black market. They're in a bar in this seedy part of town, and they found the woman. There is a laser sight on her head. Our mystic Zev has figured out where the shot could be fired from. Our speaker Corrigan has bought them some time by notifying the bartender, and now Oscar and Talia are trying to get over to this woman before the shot is fired. All right, so let's go ahead and say risky. So we're going to use scramble. We're going to say it's a risky action with great effect because of your flashback. and then you're going to add 1 bonus die because you're using a gambit.
Okay.
Question.
Now,
Can I?
No, you're going to lead a teamwork. So here's what's going to happen, Talia. You're going to help, right? The 2 of you are working together. You're going to make a separate roll. You guys will roll both at the same time. We'll take the highest of all your rolls, of all the dice being rolled. So for you, Talia, what is you're trying to accomplish the same thing, but you don't have to do it the same way. Oscar is scrambling. What are you doing?
I think I want to, because he's scrambling, I want to skulk behind him using that extra pathway that he's making.
Love it. Love it. All right. So you're going to do a skulk. Same situation. You're going to be risky standard. You don't get the greater effect. All right. So both of you roll your dice. Oscar, make sure you add the extra die for the gambit. Let's see what both of you roll, and let's see if we can't get a 6 between the 2 of you. We got a 3 and a 3 from Oscar. Oh, and a 3 and a 3 from Talia. So on a 1, 2, or 3, it's a fail. On a 4 and a 5, it's a success with consequences. On a 6, it's a success. Oh, okay.
Should have been called Icarus.
Oscar, you slide into this vacuum tube that gets bartenders from one bar to the other. You get shot through. I think it works a little bit different than you thought, because it doesn't stop. It literally launches you.
Yep.
So you get, the door opens behind the bar and you get launched into the bar. So
that's fair.
on your sheet, I want you to take 1 harm. So if you go to your sheet, at the very bottom row is lesser harm. There's 2 boxes there. On the left-hand box, I want you to put bruised.
Okay.
All right. Talia, as you are skulking through, trying to get to the other side of this bar, you get stopped. And I think you get stopped by an old student. So somebody you used to teach. Professor Vey! And just gives you this big hug. It has been years since I have seen you!
Oh, yeah. Oh, my way. Yeah, if you could, we gotta, it's such a good, we can get a drink later. I'm right now doing something.
Oscar is slammed into the bar, bruised. You are stopped halfway there into the bar. Zev, you are working towards our shot being fired. Corgan, what are we doing? You've gotten the attention. The bartender's there and bought us a little bit of time. And essentially, I'm imagining the other bartenders going, gentlemen, what are you doing? What are you doing? And it stopped them from pouncing on her. It has done nothing for the laser sight on our friend's head.
Right. Seeing Zev clocking in and going off in the direction of another laser sight and seeing my 2 teammates not doing so well. I just step away from the bar and move at a pretty quick clip through the bar. And I actually just I tap Odd's shoulder on the way through. And as Odds looks to me, I get right in the face of the person talking to Odds. Like, I do not stop moving as I'm doing this. Right in the face of the person talking to Odds and say, you really need to take care of that thing right there behind you, because Odds I need right over here. And I just try to direct them, and I'm keep walking. I'm just trying to buy her a moment. But I'm going straight.
I don't need a roll for that. So that we can have happen without any difficulty. What else are you trying to accomplish here?
I'm moving quick.
Okay.
Because I'm still worried about those 2 making off with this person. Also, line of sight is not good. And I'm going to come up very quick. And then I'm going to do my own flashback.
Oh, okay. Talk to me. So for those of you watching, this game has an idea of a flashback, which means these are very skilled scoundrels that are doing a job. The scoundrels themselves have already planned for this. So that means the players can flash back and see how their characters planned for this. So how did Corgan already plan for this situation? What's your flashback?
I flash back to, we're back on the ship. Corrigan is working and putting together a small device that looks like a little air puffer, something you'd use to, put out a scent in the room, make it all smell like bathroom breeze or something like that. I don't know. That's not the breeze you want, I know, but words coming out. And the sound cuts into, honestly, gentle arguing with Zev. Zev, the reason we do things like this is because we want to distract and dissuade them without doing any irreparable harm to their brains. You keep saying you just make them do the thing. I'm telling you, we don't
Corgan's
want
so
to have
concerned
to.
about the brain.
We don't know what you are doing to these people, and I just need them to not be doing what they're doing for a little while. I don't need them to become a vegetable later in the week.
So, Corgan, I'm going to save you the flashback. I'm willing for you to use part of your loadout. If you want to mark spy gear on your loadout, you can have this for free.
Okay.
All right.
I will do that.
All right, great. So that's one of your loads. You brought spy gear with you, and that's exactly what this thing does. So now let's keep talking. What do you want to accomplish here with this?
Yeah, so the point of this is we have to assume that we're going to run into an encounter, and we need to lock them down. We also don't want to generate too much heat. Lots of bloodshed, there's lots of bad vibes, lots of people looking for you later on. So this is really, it's just meant to be more of a soporific. It's a knockout gas.
Oh, interesting. All right, so let's talk about effect here. When this thing triggers, who are we hoping gets knocked out? Our two friends?
Yeah, so they're like leaning in, I'm assuming close over Vespa.
Yep.
I'm just going to basically hold up the device and say, hey, have you seen one of these? And put it right up between their two faces.
Perfect.
And in the same moment, I'll just have a hand up right here, and you can see sort of like through the fingers enough of a mask to stop it.
Absolutely love it. All right, what action are we talking?
Well, so I am moving up quick. I'm doing that. Sadly, this might be a skulk, which is not a great thing for me. So here's what I actually want to do. I want to tap some of my experience in the military. I'm thinking about there is close quarters combat training as part of the militaries. And so I'm going to lean on scrap for hitting the moment of presenting a weapon for crowd control up into the faces of these folks. And I want to use one of those gambit dice.
Love it. All right, so let's get rid of one of the gambits off the fire drake. We're going to use scrap here. It's going to be standard. These guys aren't going to see you coming. So your position is standard. Your effect with scrap, I'm going to make it limited. I think you're going to be able to stun them, but not knock them out. Okay. If you're going to be super physical about this. If you want to try a different action, it might give you a different effect, but well, actually, no, I lied, because I would make it limited, but you're using an item. So that's going to make it standard. So it'll be risky standard because you're using an item. Okay. And a gambit gives you an extra die.
I want to negotiate for pushing for a bit stronger effect.
Okay. You want to go down to desperate?
I think so.
Okay.
Because I want this to hit pretty hard. I'm working. Remember, this was built on the assumption that I need that person to stop now.
Understood. So I'm happy if you want to shift this to desperate and greater effect. I love it.
I'm doing that.
Then you've got an extra die from the gambit from the ship.
Yep. And it's gonna be great. It's gonna be amazing.
Yep.
Desperate. So desperate. Great.
Desperate. Great. Yep. And with an extra die for the gambit.
One extra die. It's gonna be fantastic.
A little bit of luck on your side.
It's fantastic. It's
5.
I told you.
Yeah, 5 and a 3. So you're going to succeed with a consequence. All right, describe the success for me.
Right.
Oh, go ahead.
So the success is, I think have you seen one of these before? And they look up, bam. But I've got a big bushy mustache. And I'm trying to directly apply a face mask. I think I might get just a little bit winged by it.
Yeah, and I think it's and also like one of the guys realizes at a half second what you're trying to do, and I think he kind of swipes at you a little bit and causes your arm to go off a little bit. So I think you get a little bit of the gas. I want you to start a 4-bit clock for me and I want you to mark 2 bits on the mark two segments on the 4 clock, and I want it call it nap time.
4-bit clock, 2 bits marked, nap time.
2 bits marked, called nap time. But we see these guys go, hey, and they collapse down. All right, this is all happening like in the same 5 seconds. Oscar hits the bar. He gets knocked back. Talia tied up by one of her former students, but Corgan pulled you away. I need to go to Zev, because Zev, you're the only thing that's going to prevent our Vesper from getting shot right now. You have got about a half second. You are a good distance away. This whoever's on the top of that building across the street with this rifle and this weird way creature is not even within hearing distance of you. What are you going to do?
Zev might not recognize the specific creature, but she knows the way when she sees it.
Mm-hmm.
And the instinctual connection between the animal and the rifle, she knows right away what she has to do. I would like to attune to the way, please.
All right, let's talk about what success looks like. So if you succeed at this, what happens?
So if I succeed at this, I am able to utilize my powers of the way to draw the animal's attention elsewhere, and that in turn will move the rifle.
You'll make her miss the shot, right? Somehow she's using this creature, obviously, to help her with the rifle. And if you can get that creature distracted by attuning to the way, maybe breaking that connection or at least fucking with it a little bit, I absolutely love this. So you're going to use a tune. I'm going to make your position controlled because right now, nobody knows what the hell you're doing. You just look like somebody like walking to get out of the bar. This sniper is hyper focused on the target. They don't know what you're doing. This beast, this way beast that's connected to the rifle doesn't know what you're doing. So this is a controlled position and with standard effect. And you can use a tune. So same situation. You can stress to push yourself. You could use a gambit. You could take a devil's bargain. You could switch your position and effect. So you could increase your effect by lowering your position or vice versa. Any of those levers you want to pull? This is a huge roll because failing this, someone's getting shot.
Failing this, somebody dies. So I might as well. No, we're not letting Corrigan get shot.
I imagine myself standing in the line of the gunfire at this moment. If I walked up behind her, she'd react about you. I think the dot's on my back now.
It could very well. You could easily be shot here.
I don't know if I want to step out of a controlled environment, though.
I don't think so either.
That doesn't make sense. So would this be a good spot to use our last gambit, or would you guys like to save it?
We got 2 left. Keep going.
Yeah, we should have 2.
All right, let's use it then.
All right, so controlled, standard, with an extra die. We're going to attune, and if we succeed, our friend is going to miss the shot.
There you go.
This is fantastic. Oh, a 3, 4, and a 5. So walk me through what the success looks like. The shot gets fired and it does miss, but I want to know how this all happens.
I guess what you would call them as ears on the animal twitch, and then the snout does as well. And just as the sniper is pulling their finger on the trigger, the animal looks up and into the corner. The shot goes wide. It smashes into one of the bioluminescent lights at the nightclub, shattering it and creating quite a distraction. Waylight sprays out in a almost electric rainbow, causing chaos in what is already a chaotic situation at the bar.
So because you're controlled, it's only going to be 1 tick on your clock. Whoever else is here that's way sensitive is getting closer to figuring out who and what you are. So mark another segment on that clock as your consequence for the 5. Shot gets fired, goes above Corrigan's head, goes above Vesper's head. Would have hit one of the 2 friends, but they're on the ground thanks to what Corrigan did. Talia, you're right behind Oscar. You're kind of getting your way about you. The bartender's looking over to you like, why are you behind the bar? And Vesper is the heads on the bar. Zev, you see the shot get fired. Instinctively, I feel like you would follow the shot to make sure it missed. When you look back, the sniper and this animal are gone. We've got Vesper passed out on the bar, unshot. You can't be behind here. You cannot be behind here. And the woman's coming up to you and kind of pushing you, Oscar. This is not for patrons on the other side.
I just got to get my girlfriend. It was just
It was a stupid argument. I just got to get her out of here. And I'm just so sorry. And I just, baby, it's going to be okay. I'm going. Please just let me get my girlfriend out of here. We'll be fine. It's going to be fine. Like, we're going to get the house, and the ship is going to be repaired, and the business is going to be fine, and she'll be able to sell the cupcakes just like she's always wanted to sell them. And I'm going to grab Vesper.
So the last thing the bartender says to you is, "Shh, get that hegemonic scum out of my bar." And we're going to cut to the four of you waking up Vesper. Where are we? Where do we take her?
So there's this bakery.
She has a cup of tea in front of her.
And a tray of mooncakes, because Zev refuses to get off this planet without stopping to try the mooncakes.
So this old woman that runs this bakery, you walk in, Zev, and in no way is she paying attention to the three scoundrels that walked in with you that are dragging a passed out woman and putting her into the corner booth. This woman looks at you and goes, "Oh, are you? Oh, my dear, are you here to try the cakes?" She recognizes you and knows that if you say one word about her cakes, it would get over the entire net. And it probably even the hegemonic news network would run a story on her. Like, this is a big deal for her. She's, oh, what can I get you, my dear? What can I get you, my dear? She's got deep lines, and she's got flour all over her. She's a stout woman, strong forearms from kneading dough.
Zev pushes out calming energy surrounding herself and the woman, lulling her into a sense of calm. Her hair starts floating up into the wind behind her. But wait, there is no wind.
There is now.
It's glowing a light green, and her whole face lights up with a smile. I've heard legends about these cakes of yours, and I'm simply dying to try them.
You can almost hear her heart slow to a calming rhythm. Her shoulders drop, and she goes, "Might I choose to flight her?"
Of course.
And she goes into the back, and she brings out on a small little plate that's laced with this bioluminescent decor on the edge of the plate, and she places it in front of you. What does this mooncake look like?
The mooncakes are literally glowing as if they had a light coming from within. This is a delicacy back from Zev's home galaxy, and it's not something that can be found easily around here. Something about the ingredients needing to be, transferred from light years away, but who pays attention to any of that these days? Zev inhales and is immediately reminded of home, of her family, of the people that she cares the most about, and is just overcome with joy to see food being able to cross all of these planets and planets away throughout entirely different civilizations, and to see it being replicated with such attention to detail and respect for her people's culture. And
you notice under, she's got like a cloth wrapped around to keep her hair up, and you see human hair, but you also notice a couple strands of bioluminescent hair under there. She might be a mix, a hybrid of your people and humans, which explains why she can make these cakes. In contrast, we cut to the booth where Vesper is awaking, and as Zev is tasting this delicate cake, Vesper is vomiting.
I grab the trash can that's in there and put her head into it and pull her hair back. There you go. Let it all out.
And she's a young woman, like early 20s. She's still wearing a workman's guild coverall. Hasn't cleaned the grease out from under her nails. Has some grease stains still on her neck. Not ones that were acquired that day. It's old and crusted and flaking off. It's been there for a very long time. And she wipes her mouth and she goes, she looks at the three of you. Who are you?
Oh, I'm Odds.
She's a big fan.
Huge fan of the work that you do.
No. You're Dr. Vey.
Wow, actually, yeah.
I've read all your papers.
Please continue.
Oh, I can't believe I can't believe you're are you interested? Oh, and she's like focused on you, but not real sure about Oscar, not really sure about Corgan. And you can just see that in her face.
Well, they're my shipmates. We're here to actually learn a bit more about the thing you're selling.
I'm not selling anything. My prototype's based on your work. It was stolen.
By who?
I don't know.
Okay, so here's the thing. My work in the past is very volatile. At worst.
Experimental, yes, no, experimental, and the gravitational pull connections that you were able to make at the ship-to-ship level was not believed. And she kind of looks around. She goes, "This does more than I expected."
Yeah, it does. That's why I stopped.
No.
What else? What does
Dr.
it do?
Vey? If this falls in the wrong hands, someone could launch a moon into a planet with my prototype.
Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
it's gone.
Awesome. Why? What happened? How did we get here?
So once I realized what it was capable of, I knew it couldn't be left in the hegemonic hands. So I escaped from the guild. I came here to hide, and I might have been drinking. I don't know. I might have been drinking. I woke up back in my room,
Okay.
and the prototype was gone.
Who else knew about the prototype? Let's start there.
Nobody. I've been doing this.
Nobody.
No.
Nobody knew. You didn't tell anybody.
Well, I told Jason, but nobody knows.
And who is Jason?
My fiance.
What's your fiance's last name? Let's start there.
Well, I just met him 2 days ago.
What?
Got
Handsome
engaged with a
man.
man you just met?
Okay.
Handsome man.
Let's.
He could-
Do you have a picture of him?
He's a wonderful man. He's not involved.
No, I completely agree with you. Do you have a photo of him?
Yeah, she brings out a tablet
Mhm.
and shows you a photo. I don't need a roll here. You notice on his neck, handsome man. She wasn't lying. Good looking
he is
dude.
handsome. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
real good looking dude, right? Could talk a dog off a meat wagon. Good looking. And you notice the tattoo on the side of his neck. And 100% the double moon sign of the Bonico Syndicate.
I kind of unceremoniously take it from her and zoom in and kind of show the rest of the crew the syndicate. Okay, let's start with the bare basics. Whenever you're hiding, you need to get rid of identifiable markers,
Okay.
right?
Am I hiding?
Well, no. Hence our
Second,
conversation.
yeah, Yeah, it was really easy to track you. A little bit scarily easy. Where can we find
Okay.
him?
I met him at the bar. I was at the bar. And she kind of looks
You're
around. She
drugged.
goes, "Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I met him at the bar 2 nights ago, and oh, the words he said to me. It's like he
I know
knew
they
me, like he could read my mind."
could. He read
Zev,
your
that causes the hair on the back of your neck to step up
He
as you have a
probably
mouthful of mooncake.
could. So the syndicate has the item. How big is it? What weight, what dimensions are we talking about?
Dr. Vey, I can't wait to show it to you. It's no bigger than a suitcase.
Oh
And
my God, that's
once
amazing.
you patch it into a ship, and it has to be at least Corvette size, and it'll use the comms channel. You lock it on a thing as large as a moon, and it will cause the grav to reverse, and you can literally launch a moon into a planet. As soon as I
That is
realized what it was capable of, I knew it couldn't be into anybody's hands. So I hid it here, and well, I don't think I did a very good job.
So here's the thing. That is brilliant that you use my work to make something extremely destructive as this. The problem is that you've made something extremely destructive as this, and it's not in our hands or in your hands. So we need to find this thing. And if you survive, we need to sit down and talk schematics and gravity and everything else. I haven't been able to actually have a conversation with anyone like this before.
So,
Yes.
Doctor, I call it the Vey Moon Launcher.
She looks so bashful at that.
Oh, let's go to credits and let's talk about it on the other side. All right, bringing us back. All right. So I think we're about a third of the way through the job. Our first objective in this job was to find Vesper, which we did, which I think gets us one step closer to finding the Vesper moon launcher, or as Corgan, we find out, wants to call it the Oy Vey. And I think our next part of this job is to figure out where the hell this thing is and maybe who the hell Jason is. So we'll do that hopefully next week when we come back at the same bat channel, same bat time. So here on Third Floor Wars, what we like to do is a thing called Stars and Wishes. We'll start with thoughts, stars, and wishes, though, because for a lot of you, this is your first time playing a Forged in the Dark game. So let me start maybe with Matt. Matt, what were your thoughts on the game mechanically?
Mechanically, I mean, I like where it's set up. I like where you're negotiating for the position and everything like that. It is tricky because there's always consequences, and unless you get that 6, I mean, mechanically, you're really trying to shoot for a singular thing, and you don't have a lot to work with in the way of dice. So, I mean, you get that sensation of desperation from the outset. Like, maybe I'm rolling one die. I don't know. So, I mean, there's that sense of you're really scrambling and trying to figure out ways. As a gamer, I'm like, how do I cover myself? How do I make sure?
Yeah.
How do I give myself an edge where I can't really give myself an edge?
Yeah, you'll find with these types of games that it leans into the job never goes well. You might be able to get out on the other side, but it's not going to go as well as you'd ever hoped. And I think that's mechanically behind it. So I totally get that. So stars, Matt, is where we like to talk about when we were most in the game. So as we were playing, describing things, talking about our actions, when did you find yourself in Oscar's skin?
It's strange because Oscar is the notion of him really feels like he's best when he's on the job, but this is absolutely not what he was asked to do. And so it's thinking about Oscar, I'm like, he's not the guy to distract. He's not the guy to do it. He should be in the background. He should not be anywhere near the front. And we'll probably keep in mind that Corrigan threw him into this position as far as he's concerned.
Oh, interesting. All right. And then wishes. So thinking about the next session or two, what are you hoping to see? So something that you got that you want more of, or something you didn't get that you'd like to see?
Wishes. Boy, just trying to think about it. I really just want to see where this goes. I mean, where each person is playing, we've got the clocks. Yeah, I want to see where this goes and how this ends up playing. I'm already thinking, okay, does Oscar's background, is his syndicate background going to come into some sort of utility with this? And trying to figure things out. Did the work that he had done looking into the schematics of the bar, is there something more he can be doing with that? And so I guess wishing is thinking about, especially the fact that the syndicate, as you mentioned, is below the surface.
Correct.
And so, yeah, wondering about some dark steam tunnels, mechanical pipes, just sailing along.
I can guarantee that your skill set will be very important as part of this job. So you may be a little bit of fish out of water today. I don't think that's going to be true for very long. They're going to be very happy. The one thing to keep in mind, when you first start playing this game, it's easy to forget about your loadout. So always just every once in a while you're playing, take a look at that list. Because a lot of times you can get a lot of really neat ideas by thinking, ooh, maybe I brought this with me. And that sometimes can kick things off. So,
yeah.
All right, Dika, this is also your first time playing Forged in the Dark. So let me get your thoughts.
Yes. I actually had a blast. I really, really enjoy at least watching, hearing, and participating in kind of the back and forth of possible things that can happen, the successes, the failures. I really do enjoy that aspects about any game, and this really just leans into it. So I'm having a blast.
Good.
I am glad I am playing this. Yes.
When did you feel most in the game? So what was your stars?
I would say my stars was probably being dumped right into the action and kind of seeing how all of the plans came into fruition. Because clearly two of us, we were like, we're going straight to the person. And then the person with the bigger brain cells like, let me look for the person with the gun. Because that's obvious. And then we have our captain who is talking to the barmaid and kind of getting some additional assistance. So that was great all around. So that's when I was like, okay, I'm mentally here now. All right.
Excellent. And what are you wishing for, Dika?
Ooh, I can't wait to throw the moon into a homogeneous planet. That'd be great.
Are we not going to sell this back to the Lost Legion?
I think we should actually destroy. We should not.
Oh boy! You're already
Well, now we know it's a villain arc. All right.
Well, and I can
she
tell you
wouldn't
right now,
do that.
Just to give you an idea that if Talia does this and gets you to -3 with the Lost Legion, you'll officially be at war with them. Because you're already at -2. Okay. So if you do not do this job successfully or sell it to them, being at war with a faction in this game it really sucks. So I'm not saying don't, Talia, but
I'm not. We are democracy here.
And there's a difference between want and will, right?
Yes.
D, welcome to Forged in the Dark.
Thank you, darling.
Talk to me about your thoughts about the game.
Thoughts. This is a very interesting system to me. It's a little more mechanically involved than the systems that I've played previously. So I'm really enjoying getting to figure out how all of the different components of the die work together, and what different pieces we can leverage as we go through the story. I think I'm really interested in getting more into the gear and how it can play into our kits and being able to use the flashback feature as well. I think that's going to be really fascinating as we continue.
It's a lot of fun. And one thing that I really enjoy about this game, it makes you feel like a competent character, right? I love the idea that Corrigan knew we needed to be knocking somebody out if we're going to be in this crowded bar. So Corrigan made sure to have the right device with them. And just that idea of hyper capable characters that things still go wrong for, I think makes things interesting. When did you feel most in the game, Dee? What is your star?
I usually try to give my stars to other people, but when I felt most in the game was that moment with the trigger and the animal when the shot went awry. I felt very much like I was Zev and Zev was in control of the situation. And something tells me that's where Zev tends to thrive.
We got a bit of a Chekhov assassin here too, don't we? Like, this is somebody who obviously trying to kill Vesper. Do we know why? And very unique, this kind of animal that they have with them, and what that's all about. And what are you wishing for? What did you get you'd like more of, or what did you not get that you'd like to see?
I kind of feel like Jesse and I did a lot to dictate the direction of this job at the start, and I would love to see what happens when our other team members are given the opportunity to play in their elements. Because I mean, I love this table and I think everyone did fantastically, but a mechanic thrives in mechanical environments and a pilot thrives when she's piloting her ship. And I hope that we get opportunities to see that as well.
Beautiful, beautiful. Last but not least, Jesse, thoughts, stars, and wishes. This is not your first Forge in the Dark game.
It is not my first Forge in the Dark game. Mechanically, though, just the notes on that, I do still think it's a great system. It's a good balance of, like, there are, like, to Dee's points, like, there are mechanics here.
Yeah.
It's not mechanic free. And it does have more than people might realize, but I do like that at one point we were negotiating and you offered me a lesser effect than I wanted. And the mechanics gave us a path for that conversation. It's like, actually, I want to push you, GM, for a little bit more. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, with a bit of comfort with the system, it really does help more than hurt. It's not a mechanic that's in the way, and it's not gaming. It's not gaming the system. It's like
it is the system.
Using this as a path. Yeah. And so I really appreciate about that with the Forge systems.
Star.
So stars are not other people. This one weird.
And it can be, but one of the things that I try to do with stars is I want to know when were we there.
So
right, and that could be because of somebody or because of anything.
I'm always going to be looking for the four of us starting to gel, like starting to be characters in a space. And so actually the first little moment we started to see that was when Dika raised her hand. Fantastic. But also all of us just taking a moment, just staring at her and allowing empty space on a pod. Like, what? Dead space? Nobody talking, but we're all just staring at her. And then Matt adding in's like the hand pointing. It's like beautiful. We started to learn so much in that moment. And so that worked out great. So yeah, more like that is good. And that we're hitting that already is a fantastic step.
I agree. All right. So that might be tied to your wishes, but what are your wishes?
Yeah. So going forward, I want us to get comfortable enough in our own skins as not actors as in playing characters, but as active characters and taking actions in the scene. Like, what do I do here? And some of that's going to just develop as we develop more experience with, I know what my character would go to as a move. So yeah, I don't worry that we will get there at all. I look forward to seeing what that looks like.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see how we're going to get our hands on this device. We've got a very large city on a very large planet. Pretty limited leads, but the four of you are good at this. So I have a sneaking suspicion you're going to figure out a way to get at least figure out where the hell this thing is. And I have with your help, left us with some very interesting threads to pull, which I think includes our assassin, includes the boyfriend, the fact that we have a good idea that the Bonico Syndicate is involved, and what is a potential Death Star level weapon. And we don't want it to get in anybody else's hands, but do we want it in the Lost Legion's hands? Then I don't know the answer to that. So we are shooting to play at the same time next week. But you always want to follow everywhere on the socials, especially Blue Sky, and then you'll always know. But if you follow the channel, you'll see it there. Thank you guys. Love you.
Howdy, friends. Thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next